Hey, I'm Ali Chatterby. I am a freelance photographer based in Maryland, and I'm using this space as, a creative outlet for me to just share my thoughts on my journey so far and everything leading up to it, going forward, and as a space where, I can share all the wins, all the struggles, everything in between, shot by shot, what I'm doing, events that I'm trying to do, things that I'm trying to learn, and hold myself accountable, on a month to month basis, and sort of as like a video journal. Even if you're not into photography, maybe you're building something of your own or thinking of, how to go about it. I hope that, this is something that gives you a push to take that leap. And I hope that I can express that through these updates and this journey and this video journal and everything that I'm working towards. So that's just a little bit about me. And if you stick around to watch this video, you stumbled across this video and channel somehow, that we just see where this takes us. So with that, I think I should give a quick background into how I became a freelance photographer, why I picked up photography. So I didn't go to school for photography. I work a full-time 9 to 5 corporate job, and I've been at my job for 5 years, and I really like the people I work with, but it doesn't give me that creative outlet or interest that I have, that I hope I can just take advantage of. And honestly wasn't a big photo person growing up, which is the weird thing. So growing up, I did not take a lot of pictures of my life events, moments, things that are important that I look back on and I wish I did, and especially with the people who mean a lot to me in my everyday life. So I think when that switch flipped for me and how important those things and people are is when I realized I can document these things for not just for me but for others and show my appreciation in some way, shape, or form, because I'm not great with my words. But I got my camera. I bought it 2.5 years ago. It's a Sony A7 IV, doing portraits to start out with. And then I got some referrals for people and couples. And that's what I spent my first 2 years with my camera, honestly, just using it for everyday life. But I always knew that I wanted to eventually use it in sports. I just didn't know how to tackle it. And I'm still figuring out that space and, everything that comes with the landscape and learning everything and, what goes into it. So about 4 months ago or so, I was able to sneak in my camera into a University of Maryland spring football game, and I was just going just to practice. This was the very first time I was taking it to a sporting event, and maybe looking back, I should have just practiced with like a local YMCA, or something, on a very small scale, but I thought, this will push me and give me incentive to really see like what it's about. So, once I was able to somehow sneak in my camera, which I can probably make a video and share that in the future, but I'll keep this very brief. I took photos of the game and the action, and I even ended up making like a little highlight reel, and I shared with the players, the coaches, the team, and it got some traction that I honestly wasn't expecting. And not to say that I blew it out of the park or anything, but I was just going there just to take photos and practice and see what it is like at a sporting event. And when I got some feedback and some interest in my photos, I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. Like, I actually really enjoyed capturing those photos and being at a sporting event. And that's when I realized I can combine the best of both worlds, appreciating people, moments, using my camera and using it in the sports space. And when I look back at it, it's actually very pivotal and impactful. I was able to take those pictures and build out my website, which I published about 2 months ago or so, and using that as a stepping stone into reaching out to local schools and colleges and events and organizers and professional leagues and saying, hey, here's my work. Like, I'm a rising freelance photographer, and I'd love to come to your event, your game, and support the team in any capacity, and provide photos. And one thing led to another, and now I was able to shoot for the basketball league, which is a professional basketball league where, you know, NBA players have come out of, and a lot of players are, you know, from the G League or the Big Three and play overseas. And it's just such a cool and interesting space that I've gotten into that I didn't know existed. And all the makeup and everything and the people I've met and learned from so far and everything that has gone into this journey, I wouldn't have imagined it happening, and I really have to attribute it to that Maryland game where I brought my camera. I am hoping I can use this video journal as something that I can just look back on and say, hey, this had like a huge domino effect, or this person taught me this thing, this skill, this camera setting, this thing in Lightroom that I can say, hey, like, this brought me to this point. This has helped me in my makeup of my profile and my body of work. And I think that's really cool to look back on. So I'm using this video journal as something that keep me accountable, but, you know, track my progress and keep me, you know, grounded through the grind. And like I said, if you're not into photography, if this isn't like something that you know, one for one resonate with, I hope it's something that maybe you're building on in your own respective right, in your own craft, in your own art. And maybe you're going through some experiences, some struggles that I'm navigating. So I hope this can just be a space where, you know, I share my thoughts. It's honestly pretty refreshing just talking to this camera for the first time and getting it out there. You know, it's one thing to write, but it's also one thing to just speak out. And I'm hoping I can use this as a space for that. So I don't want to keep this video too long about me just rambling, because I think I can ramble on for a good bit, but I kind of just want to end this video with maybe my goals and what I'm hoping I can get out of this. And, you know, obviously as a freelancer and doing this on the side while trying to work a corporate job, I would love for this to be a mainstay in terms of making this a business and having photography services and seeing how I can branch outwards. And I'm still thinking through all these ideas that I have in my head and how I can not just manifest them, but, you know, bring substance and how I can tackle it over time. But I think in tandem with that, as I'm continuing to learn and figure out things and how I go about certain situations or scenarios, a goal for myself that I've had my eyes on since I've wanted to be in sports is working in the professional level consistently. And I'm not sure exactly what that entails and how I can get to that, and I can only put my best foot forward. But for me, when I think about working in an NBA arena, you know, photographing for a team, being a media member, traveling with the team, capturing what happens behind the curtains, you know, the grind, that's something that excites me. Being able to bring in my camera into those environments, into something at that professional level, that has meaning to me. And I know if I can get to that level, that's probably one of my main goals that I have for myself. I do have other smaller goals and stepping stones, but I know for this main goal, it requires a lot of grind and work and ethic, and I honestly don't know how I'll get there. I want to work towards it, and I hope that I can look back on this video and future videos that I make 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now and see that I at least attempted and tried. Because I know time will fly by, and what pushes me and drives me, I think, at this point is knowing that if that time flies by and I didn't take initiative, I didn't even try or attempt, I think that's what scares me. So I'm hoping I can figure this out as things go, and hopefully my editing is easy on the eyes and putting this together in this footage, and hopefully I didn't ramble too much. I don't know how long this video is at this point. I probably have rambled for a good 10 minutes, but, you know, we'll see where this all takes me. If you somehow stayed for this long and listened to me, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you're a trooper. And if you know me, you know how bad, like, I want to do this. I think anyone that knows me, that I've told about my photography, I think you have a good understanding of what I want to do and how much I want to make this work. And I appreciate any support in any capacity. If you've given me any words of encouragement, support, anything, I appreciate you. Hopefully I threw in some photos of mine and my website and my links. I guess I'll figure it out as I go, but hopefully I'll do this on a month-to-month basis, and appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in the next one.